Welcome, everybody. We are live. I think I went a minute too early, but welcome to the Worst Golf Podcast. Everybody wants to be the best. We strive to be the worst. When a bad take is necessary, we're going to be here to share it with you. I'm your host, JB. Normally, over on this side of me is Morgan. She spends most of her time off camera keeping me in line, but she is actually in the super chat with you guys right now from the Austin, Texas airport coming back from a media event. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Today is going to be a show that is a bit unique, being solo, but I'm going to lean on you guys for the questions. So if it looks like I'm looking away from the camera, I am. I'm looking at the big computer screen we have in front of us, where your questions are coming in. I want to kick this off with a contest that's also an experience that's coming next week. We are giving away an unbelievable package when you think about it. The person's going to win airfare. They're going to win lodging. They're going to win golf. They're going to get to play Briggs Ranch, which is a private facility in Texas. They're going to win a driver, a premium shaft, and the fitting of all that by Danny Lee at US Team EMEA, courtesy of US Team EMEA. We call that Shaft Up, and it is coming on Tuesday. You'll be able to sign up. There's no cost at all. And we're looking forward to it. I think this is going to be the best year of Shaft Up we ever do. And this one in particular, kicking it off at Briggs, is going to be awesome. Briggs Ranch is a fantastic driving course. So you're going to be able to kind of get fit and immediately start seeing the fruits of the labor that goes into the fitting, the premium shaft, the new drivers, and so on and so forth. Danny and I went back and forth via text this morning. We'll kick off this raw, uncensored episode with this sharing thing. His quote to me was, "Did you announce what drivers we're using?" And I said, "I think so." And he said, "But I haven't ordered them yet." And I said, "Well, you need to, or else we would just change it." Either way, we have a great plan for that. Driver heads, new premium shaft from US Team EMEA, free trip for 2 lucky THPers. And we're looking forward to doing it, and I'm excited. But getting that part out of the way, I want to talk about the media event that took place last night for Callaway and Paradym. Here is Paradym for those that somehow didn't see it. People said you did never show a picture of the crown. The crown is really hard to photograph in a lot of these, especially on live video, where you could see a ceiling fan above me, a window, 27 different lights, and everything else. But I thought the crew did a great job covering the media event. If you haven't seen it, you can check out the articles on the Hackers Paradise, as well as the forum thread, which has tons of feedback from the Granddaddy crew. Shout out to David Hibbler and Tevener for having them organized and ready to go. There's also a whole big amount of pictures on Instagram stories that will be up there. I think it's 24 hours, so they'll be up there for a little bit. But the driver, this is the one I was fit into, which is a standard Paradym. These guys were all fit and can share much more on-course experience than I can because they put them in play at the Hideaway. Excuse me, this cough is still here. So I'm looking forward to everybody's feedback as you get a chance to try it out. Not wrapping that one up quite yet. I want to talk about the irons a little bit, and I don't have one next to me because I'm unprepared. But they released an iron line called Paradym also, and there's 2 irons. And the first one, the standard Paradym, when you first see an iron like that, you're like, oh, it's bigger than you expected. And I threw up some pictures in the forum comparing it with 4 different irons, which were Forge Tech, Srixon ZX7, regular Apex, and those. And the size is comparable. Most people think of Srixon ZX7 as a player's iron at worst, maybe even thinner, and these are barely bigger than the ZX7. So I think it's going to surprise a ton of people when they get to see them. I got a funny story for those that don't read the banter thread on our site, and this one's geared out towards Lions 81. And I'm asking you guys this question. So Lions 81 just a couple hours ago ordered a Jersey Mike sub. He already ordered wrong, but because he chose roast beef, which is ridiculous. But he got it delivered and there was no meat in it. Now, he did have the bacon in there still from that sandwich. But, you know, my question is, Did he order wrong and he actually just got what he ordered, which was a BLT? Or did they screw it up? Now, here's where the second part comes. If you get the wrong sandwich, how do you react? Do you call them back and say, what the hell? You gave me the wrong sandwich. Do you just deal with it? Do you eat it? Do you think that if you order another one after calling them back and saying you screwed up, that they're going to spit in it or put hair in it or something? I'm asking everybody because I'm genuinely curious. And I see Morgan said I would take that over a roast beef hair sub. Yes, I would too. But I'm curious what you guys would do. Do you call and complain? Do you just deal with it? Like, where do you stand on this thing? I'm gonna switch gears completely here, and this show is literally off the rails. I wasn't even planning on doing it, but I had a lot to say, and I feel like Frank Costanza for Seinfeld fans. Um, I have a lot of complaining to do about you guys, or whatever the line was, and I don't. Most of you guys are amazing, but we decided that, and I talked about this last week, we decided that we were going to do the Granddaddy differently this year. And you guys were going to nominate who you think should be the captain. And then you guys were going to vote and determine who the captain was. And we were going to sit back and watch you guys do it. And you guys did that. You guys did several days of nominations. There was, I believe, over 20 nominations. We put every single one of them on a ballot. We emailed them back. We emailed them out to thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and we're counting the voting. Well, there was a post in that forum thread yesterday that pissed me off to no end. And the gist of it was, I see the usual suspects here, and that we should use some fresh blood, this and that. No offense to who wrote that. He's a really nice guy, but fuck you. We didn't pick the people. You guys did. Don't get mad at the people who create this event and then turn around and complain about the people who they nominated. We took all the power away from us so you guys can have every say in it. And that's the kind of post that we get. F that. That is just so small-minded and shitty to say for the people who took their time to look through the forum and nominate people and then take the time to vote on people and put actual thought into people who are on our forum every single day. That's so shitty. So the voting is still going on. We'll announce a winner soon, but that was one of the most demeaning posts I've seen on our forum to our forum members. It was directed at the people that run the forum and the staff without realizing you were directing it at the forum members who make it all possible and who did the nomination of those names. We didn't. I've picked a person every single time in 9 years. I didn't pick a person this time. You guys did. So if you have a rant to the people, or be fucking active on our forum so you can be nominated. Don't hide by a post that says, I don't want the job. No golfer on the planet wouldn't want this job. So anyway, I'm getting worked up. I have an energy drink here, which is probably the worst thing that I could do. But that one really, really hurt me to the core because our community as a whole is just so much better than that and made up of so many great people. And that's not like, it's a little cliche. And I mean, there's some weirdos too, but I'm not saying that to be cliche. I'm saying it to say, like, we decided to not do that and to give everybody the chance to choose their own. So that one really bothered me. Switching gears again, because I'm going to be all over the place this show. Srixon released a driver too. You know, when you release a driver on the same day as a Callaway or a TaylorMade, a lot of times it'll get overshadowed, and this one shouldn't. That is one of the cleanest crowns you'll see in modern drivers. It looks phenomenal. But more importantly, if you haven't read the tech story on this one that went up on our site, you're going to want to. It's really packed with tech. The speed they're talking about is pretty incredible. And I'm looking forward to TH Pierce trying this out, obviously at an event we're doing later, but more importantly, when it hits stores. If you walk into a store and you see the drivers all in a row lined up, try them. I read a stat a year ago that said the average person goes into a golf store and tries 2.5 drivers. Obviously, that isn't a real number, but try 5. You got the swings in you, 5 swings each, 25 swings. Try them, because the Srixon driver, this one specifically, the ZX5 LS, is going to be really popular. Don't mind the red light shining on that. There's not a lot of red except at the top there. The ZX5 is one of the sleeper drivers of the year, and that it's something you guys should really, really pay attention to. Their whole line that's coming out is really good, and we'll have more on that as it gets going. My notes are all over the place. I'm like, the next note says Lions 81 sandwich and then talk about Granddaddy Captain. So obviously I'm effing screwed up already. Start throwing some questions in here for me. If you have some, can I show the crown live? Sure. There you go. Hopefully that helps you. For audio listeners, I don't know if we're going to put this one up on Apple Podcasts, but if we do, I'm showing off a couple of the driver heads. I'm going to talk about another release that came out today, the Wilson Duo Soft, which probably at the forefront of soft golf balls in general. At one time, it was the number one 2-piece ball sold. It's not now. That would be the Callaway Super Soft. But it's been a very popular and good golf ball for a long, long time. And you guys are throwing in a ton of questions. I'm never going to see most of these because I got more to say on this. So we got asked a question last week about how companies supply information to us. And I can see Arrow right here. Some ears sticking up. Generally speaking, we get a ton of information on a regular release. Ton of information. With these, we got virtually nothing. A couple of bullet points, sample golf balls that arrived yesterday. And that was about it. And I think there should have been more because it's a pretty cool release. Going faster with a core formula can be quite a bit interesting for people, golf nerds like me, and for our audience. So, I hope that things are changing, because I had a conversation with someone who's pretty important to Wilson yesterday. We exchanged emails back and forth, and I was told things are changing, and I'm excited about those changes because they have some pretty good products coming out, and I want everybody to be able to give them a chance moving forward. So I think that that's probably pretty helpful. I can't use my mouse left-handed because otherwise I saw a question came through. So if you have more questions, ask them now. But overall, the Wilson Staff Duo soft balls, if you are interested in a 2-piece softer golf ball, reduced spin, this is one you will probably want to try. Somebody made the comment in our in the comments here in the chat about the 2 for $40 deal. That was something I posted on our forum earlier. They have the golf balls for $19.99, not this model, the year prior, the $19.99 or 2 for $40, which that says right there that whoever is handling e-commerce for them is asleep at the wheel, but that's neither here nor there. Somebody asked about the pie caking. The pie caking was excellent, and the THPer who bought that for us needs to be commended. I said I wouldn't embarrass him, but I can't thank him enough. We actually made the joke that you expect it to be a gimmick and then you're eating it and it's really good. Damien asks, we've talked before, but what price increase becomes really meaningful to most consumers if you're already paying $1,000 for irons? Does making it $100 really change you buying it? That's a really interesting question, and we should ask the people in the chat. Before I do that, I'm going to hold up. Yes, there is an alignment aid. You probably can't see it on the camera, but there is an alignment aid on the Srixon driver. If you're buying irons and let's say they're $1,200, does go to $1,300 change your buying purchase? I don't know the answer to that. And I think you guys will be able to say that more than anybody else. I would say that we are getting to the point where irons are almost sold individually. You're seeing it when we put out articles. They're priced that way, whether it's $150 per iron, $200 per iron, so on and so forth, rather than a 7 or 8 piece set. So I think there's a little bit to that. I also think that people construct their sets so differently now. The standard old 3 through pitching wedge or 4 through gap wedge or 5 through gap wedge is kind of a dinosaur model. Some brands obviously still do it, but with the hybrid and utility clubs and split sets being the norm, I kind of look at it as a price per club more than anything else. And some of these are packed with tech that you wouldn't believe. Tomorrow we have an off-course episode dropping where Dan hosts a really good show, and I know it's really good because I was the guest, so you can already tell it's going to be really good. But there's something in there that for direct-to-consumer club fans and ball fans you're going to want to listen to. But I'm going to ask you guys here too. If you buy a direct-to-consumer golf ball, and it's not one where they're making and testing their own, like a Seed Golf, because Seed Golf is testing all their own products. But if you're buying a direct-to-consumer golf ball, do you know what the golf ball is? And the reason I ask that is because the next question is, do they know what the golf ball is? And think about that for a second. If they're buying a cataloged item, do they know what the golf ball is? And in which case, if they're selling it to you, do you? It's a little meta to think that way and probably a little deep for a podcast called The Worst Golf Podcast, but something I wanted to just say because it's something that seems to be the norm every time new equipment comes out and there's either a price increase or they're expensive. It's just I can buy so-and-so sub whatever brand for half that price. Well, yeah, they have 0 engineers and they're buying a cataloged item. Great. If they work for you, fantastic. But we dive pretty deep in tomorrow's show on the Costco Kirkland irons and why those are different. And I have a lot to say about them on tomorrow's show. And this other topic on the golf balls. So something to consider. So I kind of went off the rails with the Granddaddy Captain thing, and I'm almost apologizing for it, but I'm going to go off the rails pretty deep right now. And I'm sure if Morgan is still in the chat, she's already nervous about what I'm going to say. So I got a private message yesterday, and anybody who was on our forum yesterday knew I was in a fucking mood that would not quit. Like I say all the time, on the golf business is 99% really good people and 1% like pieces of shit. Fortunately, we don't work with those, but generally speaking, the golf business is like that. The THP forum community mirrors that. Like most of the people are really good people. And then once in a while, somebody sends you a message and it like hurts you to the core. And I got one yesterday, and I would never say who it's from. That's not really what it's about. But it relates to the selection of events and people getting into events and people getting into events that have already been to events, or somebody getting into events twice in 1 year. I don't think we've ever done an event where somebody didn't like the process of getting selected. Unless they get in, then they love the process. Arrow, you got to sit down. In this case, a person said that it bothered him that people got into multiple events when others didn't. Now, of course, this is completely false, because the first thing is more than half of our participants over the last 2 years were first-time event goers. So fuck you. Second thing, you can only choose from the people who enter. Do not send me a message mad about not getting into an event or your friend not getting into an event or anything else if they don't sign up. That's a really shitty thing. And I struggle. He's always my emotional support dog. I struggle with the general idea that if we pick people who are active, that's wrong. If we do it random, that's wrong. If we do it random live video with LPGA players choosing the people, that's fucking wrong. Oh my God. People like this are the reason you can't have nice things in the world. This PM was 700,000 words long and told me what a piece of shit I am for basically, the entire thing. But just please, if we do something wrong, tell us we did it wrong. We're always open to feedback. We're the only website and community where we're there all the time. But at least do the research to know if we're wrong first, because this isn't correct. Like, it's so petty to go and put down other people because they're active on our forum and sign up for every event under the sun, hoping to get into one. God knows if they get into two, it's amazing. But like, stop thinking about things without researching them. I've never not returned a PM that asked me a question. Just ask. Why did this person get in? Well, it's random. But if it's a shoulder tap where we tell somebody, listen, you're doing an amazing job on our forum, here's a free trip. That's pretty awesome. I know I'd want that. I pay for these trips just like you guys do. So it's so petty to think about, but it's real. And I struggle so much with the idea that if you do it random, it's wrong. But if you select people, it's also wrong. Basically, what it's saying is I should only pick people who are brand new and never been to something, even if they don't sign up. So, like, I don't know the correct answer. Hi, Arrow. For those listening, Arrow is in the screen right now. But somebody said you should just ban them. We would never ban people for being wrong or having a really small-minded opinion. But just understand that you can only pick from the people who sign up for an event. And telling me that behind the scenes you're chatting with people and they're upset about it, that somebody got into a second event, isn't going to make me think strongly of you or anything else. Come to us. But I'm going to add another thing. Another PM yesterday that was pretty critical. And criticism is good. That's how you get stronger. That's how our events are what they are now, because people were critical of them in the past, mostly us. But I got a PM saying, I'm sending you this and I hope you take it to heart. I'm being critical because I'm an Albatross Club member. I feel I have the right to have a say in this because that's your revenue model. Okay, couple things. Number one, you always have a right to be critical, and my PM box is always open. Number two, joining the Albatross Club has nothing to do with our revenue model. Zero. Number three, fuck you. You have no right to understand how I do run this business or anything else. And I'm going to go into that now because now we believe in transparency and I want to share exactly how things are done. But please don't try to understand that because you join the Albatross Club, you have a right to be critical. I don't care if anybody joins the Albatross Club or not. They always have the right to be critical. And frankly, after 15 years, I've heard it all. A couple of months ago, probably 6 months ago, I was asked to do an interview, Media Matters. I can't remember the name of it. And it was a video thing, and it was about growing a community and the business model and things like that. I started that thread. I wasn't going to. It has nothing to do with THP as golf. It has to do with how we run our business. And there's an entire hour-long video where you can hear my take on every aspect of our business. I implore somebody, if they're going to be critical of our business model, to at least watch that and understand what the business model is. Because if we're trying to make a living on an Albatross Club, when you can see physically, God help you if you ever have to go to St. Jude, the bricks we purchase through your guys' donations, like, we would be homeless. We'd probably be having to live on those bricks. That is not how we make a living. It's not real hard to figure out if somebody isn't small-minded. You know, we have sponsors, every one of them. Unlike a lot of websites, again, this is about transparency. We have a full list of every single company that gives us a nickel on the bottom of our forum. Every single one of them. Now, normally, I would let it end there. But they caught me at a mood. And And my response wasn't as friendly. It's probably about as friendly as I am being right now. And I just basically wrote, I'm going to read it. Couple things I need to point out. First, feedback is always welcome. Second, please don't assume you have any idea how our revenue model and that it includes the Albatross Club. That's just false. And I got back a response saying, figured you'd respond like that, which, because they didn't read the rest of it, which was them bashing somebody getting into an event and me standing up for the reason why. And that part I'm not going to share here. I should let it fly because it impacts somebody, but it also impacts others. And let's just say that person is missing a ton of facts. And I don't think it's necessary to share that part. But let me explain something pretty easily. We're the only golf forum in the world where the owners, too, are on it every single day. The staff, the people who write the articles and review the equipment, are on it every single day. Our forum moderators are on it every single day. You can reach out and ask any of them anything, and they're always told to be 100% honest. I see Morgan in the chat said your response was way nicer than mine would have been. Probably, but you have a rep to protect, and we're going to keep it that way. So I'm completely like off the rails here. So let me drink some more caffeine. Going back to the idea of being critical. Be critical anytime you want. We're happy to hear it. We don't always agree with it. And most of the time, it's at the micro level, and we're already thinking about the macro level. So there's a little bit of a difference and sometimes a lost in communication, but we're happy to hear it. If you have an issue with something we've done, let her rip. If you're doing it because you feel slighted in some way, that's okay too. I'm happy to hear it. I'm probably going to disagree with it, but I'm happy to hear it. And that's okay. People are allowed to disagree. If the world were all puppy dogs and rainbows, that's okay too. But now I'm going to get to something else that is pretty much off the rails. And that is, I mentioned earlier the Granddaddy voting and how this was open to you guys nominating the people, you guys voting on the people, us sitting back and letting you choose. They said, people said, like, "What did you have a problem with it?" And I responded last week, and this was the God's honest truth. There's enough good THPers that even if we got a captain that I didn't think was the right person, everything would work out. And then I get multiple PMs from people. And this is from Twitter, mind you. This is not even from a forum. Now, could it be a burner account? Maybe. Maybe it's Patrick Reed's wife. I have no freaking idea. It said, I just want you to know I've been involved with a conversation about how to add votes for certain people doing this. You should be aware of it and maybe shut it down or just pick somebody. What the fuck? You're running a freaking event, a contest, a vote just to choose a captain? Like, are you kidding me? That's where we're going. I understand it's a once in a lifetime opinion, but are you kidding that that's where we're at? This goes back to we should just pick somebody, because the idea that like that's where we're at is, frankly, it's mind blowing. Now, we've been watching the votes. We haven't had the whole 40,000 or 400,000 votes dropped at 2 a.m. thing, but the fact that multiple people said this to me and I kind of know where it came from says people should be ashamed of themselves. I see Damien just said, I'll send you my card. Damien's a lawyer. He knows my feeling on lawyers. So I'm not allowed to be president, Tevener. People in my, let's just leave it at that. Somebody asked earlier about the weight loss, how it's going. Talk about quickly changing the topic, because I have so much to say on that. You have no fucking idea. But somebody asked about the weight loss. It's going well. I'm 7 days in. I'm down 9 pounds. The first week is always the easy part, though. I mean, yeah, you lose the good food, but it's always the easy part to lose. a lot of weight right away, water weight, a lot of sugar, things like that. But no, things are going well. My pants aren't folding over on the sides, but to be fair, I haven't really left much because work's been so crazy. Um, but the food, we're doing a challenge, and with some friends, and I have 2 months roughly, March 1st, to get it done. And the idea is I have 15 more pounds to go roughly. So 9 pounds in 7 days. Somebody asked, they said, wow, it's not really that hard if you cut out sugar and carbs, if that's basically your entire diet, which was me. Um, so yeah, that part makes it a little easier, but have juice cleanses been considered? No, I'm an adult and I'm not crazy. Those things are nonsense. Please don't ever say muffin juice again. That's disgusting. I'm reading through the chat for people listening along, but again, I don't think we're going to put this one up on the podcast. It wouldn't make much sense. We're going to keep this one to this live stream. I agree with Mike G. First 10 pounds is roughly water retention plus all the sugar. So yeah, things are going really well right now. We'll see if I can stick with it, but I really need to. I got a couple of trips in the middle. We got PGA show in a couple weeks. Hey, Arrow. And then I have a trip in February to Ballyhack where I'm going to freeze my ass off, but it's worth it. I got a question sent to me this morning, and it's relating to food, so I wanted to pass it on to you guys. They said, if you had to compete in any food challenge that you would be good at, what would it be? And we went back and forth for like 20 minutes. This is an industry friend who doesn't eat a lot, so it was kind of funny listening to him rationalize that he could win a ramen noodle contest. But I was thinking about this, and I don't know the answer. I think I could do quite a few of them. Obviously, I wouldn't be happy about it, but I think I could do quite a few of them. Most likely, like some sort of Danish light bread type of food, because I can pack that in because I eat so fast. Sushi would be probably pretty good. Chicken nuggets are probably pretty easy. If Buck Nasty is in the chat, he still owes Canada and I a video of him eating 50 nuggets, I think it was. But I think that I want to know what you guys, could you guys do any of these? I've done a couple over the years on the air for different silly things. And Arrow is looking for the BarkBox promo, but he can't have BarkBox. So he has another dog sitting right next to him, which is we're dog sitting till tomorrow. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the kind of best one I would be good at. I feel like it would be some sort of Danish. I mean, as a Northeastern Jew growing up, I'm pretty sure we had to eat Danish. It's like part of our food groups. So I feel like Danish, those long ones you get in the grocery store, the fresh baked, like raspberry cheese, some sort of Danish like that. No, Arrow. I can put those down in about 10 minutes in one sitting. I could probably eat about 20 of them. So could I eat a giant steak? Probably. I'm not a huge steak guy, other than, like a really good prime steak. Maybe that's a little bougie. In and out, no. But you wouldn't get any weight because you're going to shit blood in about an hour. So there is that. 72-ounce steak challenge isn't my thing. I think Dax is asking about gefilte fish, but spelling it horribly wrong, which is not surprising. No, I'm definitely not doing a food challenge on that. It is a horrible, horrible meal. Rugula, yes. Donuts, I can put down a dozen donuts, no problem. Probably a lot more. Could you drink a gallon size of a Portillo's chocolate cake shake? I could. That goes back to the whole shitting blood thing, and I really don't want to do that. Bringing back Dipe Up for this episode, I see. Morgan would be tough to beat in chips and salsa. Despite being 5 feet tall and barely 100 pounds or barely over 100 pounds, she could easily put down a lot of chips and salsa. Looking through some of the other things I wrote down, I'm going to explain the event process for how the signups work, because I'm still angry. God, my blood is fucking boiling over this, but I'm still angry about it. The first is we create an event in our head of what we want to do. Second, we go to a company that we think matches the event. I'm going to use the GOAT as an example. I wanted to do something around golf balls, and came up with this whole Ballyhack has goats, Jason Finley, one of the goats of trash talk. And I shouldn't say trash talk, I should say like the goats of THP trash talk. Let's do something around it. We brought in Austin Tudor, who handles performance gear, which is bags and gloves and hats and everything. And we just did a really cool thing. And when we do that, we then bring it to THPers. But we also go to the course first, go through everything, make sure we understand pricing and all that stuff. And then we bring it to THPers and put it live. And then we put a sign up date. And a sign up date is figure it out, maybe a month, maybe 2 months away. And then people sign up. And every time we get an email of a person signing up, assuming they have the correct info in the email, they get a number assigned to them and they go into a random number generator. And then we draw it. One time in 15 years, I pulled a name out after they got drawn. I vetoed it. And I was mad at myself for doing it. It was a staff member, and they were going to go to an event right after that. I won't say what staff member. But they were going to an event right after that the following week, and I didn't think it was right. And I discussed it with them, and they were good with that. But that's it. Otherwise, it's the end. It's like, this shouldn't be a thing. But at the same time, I understand the other side of it, which is if somebody is new to THP or they're listening to this or viewing this and they have no idea what our experiences are, I get it. They're amazing. If you've been on THP, sometimes you even overlook ones that don't have a full bag of equipment or something like that because right around the corner something else is coming. We do 12 a year, roughly. Sometimes 10, sometimes 13, but nothing more than that. But it shouldn't be. We've developed a community that is mostly really positive about everybody else getting a chance because you're going to live vicariously through them with the live update thread. Now, there's another side to the events that I have to discuss. I see V Golfman in the chat. He's been to a few events with us, with multiple companies, I might add, but I'm glad to see he was able to be part of the Granddaddy this year on fitting day. He is about as wise for golf equipment in my career as anybody that has been, just super influential in my knowledge. And he's happy to share that on our forum. So, not to get off on a sidetrack, but this whole show is effing sidetrack. So why not? So, Michael, thank you. Where was I? Somebody tell me where I was. Oh, the events. So there's a second part of our events, and it's the reason we can do them. And that is when you've been to an event and you receive equipment, there's a requirement that you review that equipment. It doesn't mean you have to go play golf and after each round, sorry, I had to let the dog down off the chair. After each round, you can update how each round went hole by hole. That you can do that, but that's not what it means. It means you have to be present. And if you are the person who goes to an event and then exits stage left afterward, you have to understand that the amount of money that goes into these events from both THP and our sponsoring companies, it's not worth it. I'm not going to get into what we spend on them or what companies spend on them because that's part of the thing that probably should stay behind the curtain for now. But we have dog number 2 running around and jumping around. That's probably telling me it's almost time to leave, but I got a few more things to say. But the second part of it is be present. Now, we understand when we create these events, the most wonderful part of it is we watch people become lifelong friends. You have no idea how awesome that is from our end to see people that become lifelong friends. It really is just something special on our end that people cannot wait to get together again. There is a negative to this, though. When you have a group text or a group chat or fill in the blank what other service you want to use, and that becomes a sub-forum of the forum where information or forum threads or opinions about the forum are taken there and people are pulled off and that's where they go, That is, to me, just flat out shitty. And to realize that you are only chatting with the people because of the forum that you're now shitting on or the people that are there, sorry, I can't support that. So that's part of this. That's the one negative. And it's happened multiple times over the last couple of weeks. And I cannot say enough how small that makes the people who host these feel. And I hope that people take that in consideration next time you're putting down somebody or the opinions of somebody or disagreeing with the community or the website choices, and doing it on a group chat where that person can't respond, and then not realizing that the entire group chat only exists because we fucking planned the event. So just let that sink in for a little bit, because it's some of the stuff that was shared with me was really hard to read, and that's not something I can support. I got a really good question switching back to golf, and I saw V Golfman is in here, so he actually is relevant to this. Somebody asked me that, OEMs come and go. Which one had the potential to really hit hard and that you think is would have been here, had something different? And there's one answer that just jumps right out to me, and that's Adams Golf. Now, those that don't know V Golfman, I met Michael when he worked at Adams Golf. He probably doesn't remember much of that. He was leaving to go to Wilson after that and head up their R&D, but he worked there, and we met twice, I think, while he was at Adams. And their products, they have multiple products that are just iconic, but their products that he was involved with are special and would have been special had the chips gone a different way. That's both. I didn't even realize it while I was saying it, but that actually makes more sense than you think, based on who the CEO is at Callaway now and who was the CEO at Adams. But I believe that some of their clubs are iconic. I believe that there's some legendary, and I know people talk about the CMBs. That was a really strong one, but I still go back to the hybrids. Multiple designs that are still in a lot of ways mimicked today. Obviously, better materials, better manufacturing, and everything else across the board. But shaping and styling and weight, Adams was so far ahead of their time, and with a number of things. And I think back to when we were working with Adams, and I get into the weeds on this show a lot, and there's the incestuous business comes up, but I did a final event there, and the person who helped me plan that was in charge of marketing there by a fellow by the name of Jeff Wood. And Jeff is a really nice guy. Although if you stand next to him, I need to get a picture of Morgan standing next to him because he's super tall, like 6'7". And Jeff Wood was telling me some of the inner workings and what was changing there and things like that. And we were talking, for those that are on the forum and see Indoor Golf Shop, Jeff is involved with Indoor Golf Shop. And that's kind of how we reconnected, because I think he's a really good marketing guy, really smart guy, and he's fun to work with. And I wanted to do something on indoor golf, so it was a natural fit. But Adams, yeah, I agree. I do think TaylorMade ruined them. I can make the case that it was necessary, but the amount of clubs that were so incredible there that they put out that were so under the radar is shocking to me. Everybody thinks of them as the tight lies, and then the people on the internet go to a couple of drivers that were pretty darn good, but some of those hybrids across the board were just so well done that if you run across one, give them a try a couple of times, because they're a lot of fun still to hit. I think you'll enjoy the more modern stuff, but they're a lot of fun to hit. And speaking of more modern stuff, the hybrid in the Paradym line might be the sleeper of the entire line. I still think it's the 3-wood of the standard Paradym, but the hybrid is very, very good. A couple more things I want to touch on. There are approximately 70 more product features coming out on the Hacker's Paradise. I want to give a shout out to James, Dean, and Hawk. They are handling every single one of these articles, and you'll be able to read deep thoughts, not regurgitated information, and not anything with an agenda. Deep thoughts on the technology, the features, what's changed, what's the same, what works, what doesn't, and with literally zero bias or on any aspect of anything when it comes to the product previews. So there's a ton of those coming up. We had Wilson today, but next week is filled with more products, things like that. Finally, I want to say thank you guys for listening. This was a pretty crazy show. And if you have any other questions, like jump in right now and I'll answer them, since we're not going on the audio format. I don't mind if there's a lull in the conversation. Shout out again to David Hibbler and Tevener for getting their guys all talking about the equipment. Their thoughts are incredible. You can tell they're 100% the honest feelings. Somebody asked what happened to the Callaway embargo. I can answer this. We were on the bus when it actually happened. The basis of it is somebody leaked information from a magazine to start with, and from a catalog, and it got leaked and posted online, and then of course immediately screenshot, despite that coming down, and doing it everywhere. And it was everywhere immediately, and they were not happy about it. They did not give a go ahead to Dick's or Galaxy or anybody else to go early. That is nonsense. Would we ever consider doing an experience incorporating influencers? In some ways we have. Years ago, we did one with the Cup, and the Bryan brothers were there. We had Jamie Sedlowski out at a Cleveland event. So I think so. It's possible. I don't know. People asked about that with Good and Callaway. I'm not against it, but it has to make sense for all parties. And at the end of the day, our events are always product related. So it has to make sense there. I also think the best influencer for THPers is R&D people and product people, because that's what people want to know. Why don't OEMs follow their own embargo dates? Some are better than others. Some it's a scheduling snafu. There's all kinds of stuff going on there. What can Srixon do to get more recognition, in your opinion? I think they're getting a lot right now. I think that their marketing department's still lean and mean, but they're pretty darn creative, and it's getting better and better. And I know Noelle's not listening to this because she's crazy busy right now, but if she were, I would tell you that she's working really hard, and the information she's supplying is the best ever from Srixon for previews. So that part I think is only going to get better. And if you follow her on social media, you can tell her I said that, because she is absolutely killing it this year with the information being provided to us. Have a stronger drink than caffeine. Thank you, my friend. I'm not much of a drinker, so I'm going to hold that off. Big Dill, what's the next limited series item? That would be a question more for staff, but I can tell you they have something coming probably in the month of February. So keep in mind with that. Keep an eye on that. I'd rather play with Austin Tudor and Jason Finley again over any influencer. I can understand that. I mean, granted, they're pretty darn good, but yeah, they're a lot of fun. Not launch club. Let's see. Yeah, the Srixon launched the same day as Callaway. That was hard, but they have more launches coming up. You're not going to want to miss those. Favorite unplanned thing to happen during a THP experience? I got a lot of them, but one I'll share with you right now. Dean, I don't think he's in here anymore. He had to go to a meeting, but he proposed to his now wife at one of our experiences years and years and years ago, I believe at PGA National on the 18th green. So that one was pretty awesome. There's been so many, anything from golf related to non-golf related. I mean, we had a guy who is probably not here, but last year who 15 minutes into the event shit so bad he broke the toilet at Victoria National and had to call for a plunger. So, that's pretty unexpected, but his screen name now on the forum is now Buffalo Plunger. I think the influencer versus industry experts thing, I think it would be an and more than an or. I don't think I would ever do one strictly with influencers. I don't think that they don't need us for that. Do we need snake bite kits for the Morgan Cup this year? We shouldn't, being where it's held, but we did have somebody get bit by a snake last year. So, you never want that on anybody, but if it happens, yeah, better safe than sorry, I guess. I do keep a first aid kit in my car, so maybe that is, and I'm sure Dormy Club has something that would work there. I appreciate you guys more than you know. So this is hard to explain because I know those that know me, whether it's on the forum, on the podcast, in real life, I'm not a deep feelings kind of guy. I'm fairly, I don't want to say cold because that's not really me. I like to joke around and have fun, but I'm fairly even keeled, I guess would be the best way. My wife knows otherwise. She knows my true things, but she's the only person I'm really close with. Um Yesterday was a rough day, and I shared some of that here. Like I said, I would never out a person for doing that, but I shared some of it here, and I hope that you guys understand. We do these events for you guys. Yes, it's part of our business model, but we certainly don't need to. We can run the website and the forum and have wonderful content with everybody chatting and everything else without doing the events. We do them because they're so amazing and they're so much fun. And there's nothing in golf anywhere like them. And I say that not as a pat myself on this weird shirt, kind of thing. I say that because it's true. There is nothing we do. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I don't say that stuff to be, oh, shucks, give me a high five or a handshake or God help me a hug. Definitely not. I say that because I do not need a hug, JB Cobb. I say that because we want to continue to keep doing them. And the events last year were unlike anything we've ever done before. Having golf courses to yourself and dealing with everything at such a personal level was pretty special. And we want to continue to keep doing them. And I'm not saying that to hold you guys hostage. That's not what this is about. It's just like treat others as you want to be treated. Like it's not that hard. It is not hard to not be a piece of shit. Like it's really not. I don't know why social media does that to people, but it is not hard to not be a piece. I'm not even saying be a nice guy. Just don't be a piece of shit. Like, is that the prerequisite? Is that how low we have as a bar of society? Is don't be an asshole? Like that's interesting. So I made the joke about the shirt. The shirt is I bought this at Dormy Club. It's the Dormy Network logo and Dormy Club logo, but I can't remember which course I bought it at. It's got transfusions all over it. And those who have been listening since the beginning know my feelings on that drink. Oh, here, I'll give you another rant since people seem to be interested in the nonsense I'm spewing today. If you go to a THP event this year at a Dormy experience, you can order anything you want. Please don't drink the canned. These. God, my mind is fried. Please don't drink the canned transfusions. They cost twice as much as like every other drink in the whole place. So yeah, like I don't know why that is, but transfusions are a horrible fucking drink anyway. Drink something good. Drink a beer. Drink a glass of wine. Drink an old fashioned. Like drink a regular drink. Like don't drink something that tastes like grape juice because you want to get fucked up. That's really not what our events are about. But I understand that happens. Any other questions? I will avoid noise. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you. I make the joke, but I'm not going to tell you. But if that's their drink of choice, I don't care. MTB Loco, it's an interesting story. Every one of the facilities actually has their own canning facility on site, so they make them on site, and I'm assuming that's why. And I'm totally kidding when I say all this. The drink list is listed in the thing. People are going to see. They know exactly what everything costs, but it's all inclusive, and we want it to be all inclusive. And we just ask people don't take advantage of that. And it's certainly not about the can transfusion. We did the budget championship at Dormy Club. People were respectful. If they wanted to get a whole bunch of drinks, they went up to the bar and opened a tab. If they didn't and they were going to have a couple drinks, they get them out of the cottage and it's billed us. We're good with all that. Like that is perfect for us. We never want anybody to feel like they're taking advantage of us because they're not. And we never want anybody to feel like they have to walk on eggshells because we definitely don't want that. No, you cannot bring any outside food or drinks to the Dormy properties, KY Golfer. It's their rule. They have a pretty good darn selection to begin with, but they have everything you could possibly want. So, but they do. And here's a funny story about that. Not only can you not bring it, but it's the way it works is pretty effed up. The first time you're caught, you get a warning. The second time you're kicked out. So we had a friend who was a member there. I should say a friend of a friend who was a member there, who the first time his guests brought all kinds of snacks and they told him to remove it. And the next time he was caught with a cooler in his bag. I don't know why he did it, and they revoked his membership or threatened to. I don't know the whole situation, but yeah, it's not ideal. So yeah, the whole bringing in outside alcohol, snacks, things like that, not acceptable, but they do have everything you'd need. Yes, you can bring your own toiletries, of course, but you don't need to because they do have everything. Yeah, it is pretty strict, but only in that. It's one of those things where, despite that being a private property, you pretty much they're not strict about anything. They have speakers on the carts for people who like to play music, things like that. Could you do DoorDash? I bet you could. Most of the courses are pretty remote. I don't know how warm your food would be, and the food at the cottages are amazing. So even if you were doing poker late night and you wanted to get something, they could have something brought to the room. That's no problem at all. Yeah, bug repellent wipes are good. They even have those on the cart, but I always recommend bringing that anyway. Any other questions you guys have? We're moving in on an hour, and I'm raring to go. I don't care. Anybody have any questions? I'm happy to keep answering. We need a guidance form to hold tribunals for Richards. Yeah, that's a little weird, but yeah, I could get down with that. I don't even know what that is. It sounds like it was from one of those reality shows that I never watched, Survivor. I bet it's from Survivor. Chapstick is a must, especially in some of these other climates that aren't as humid. Will you ever make it home? That I can't answer. I hope so, because taking care of 2 dogs without you here is not fun. Beef jerky, they have them in the cottages. Owner's cottage for the Evolve experience. Not unless I get a massive raise, because that's $10,000 per night. What about the sunscreen? Yes, we're working on that. It's coming close. We're almost there. We will have it definitely by the time. The TM release date, we don't give exact dates, but I would stay tuned because it's coming right up and our guys have decent information. Do you want me to tell the powder story? Is that what Doug is asking? Happy to. So actually, I'm going to type that one up on the forum. Someone asked about regional THP tournaments to qualify for a national THP. No, we're not going to do that. We did regional rivalry and things like that, and companies got nothing out of it. Can you order a pizza for delivery on course at Arbor Links? I don't think so. Maybe? I don't think so. The new course, my guess is it's going to be mid-2024, Gray Bowl. It's going to be awesome. There will be no regional rivalry between Ohio and Michigan. Absolutely not. To think I can't even remember who sponsored that. That's how bad the feedback was afterwards. Cobra Soon 2, yes, very soon, and that one's going to be nuts. You can go back and watch a previous episode with Jose and Mike Yagley that we did from their office. They kind of give some hints away, but really, really strong Cobra release this year. Probably, in my opinion, the best they've ever released. Dormy Pizza looks fantastic. It really is. You always want to go there and get the amazing food, and I always end up at least one night getting pizza. Exactly, Phil. Yes, there was a sponsor. That's how bad it got. New Titleist offerings. It depends what you mean. Obviously, Pro V1, that's been teased for a while. There's a few other items coming, and yes, they are coming in January. Yeah, I think True Temper was the sponsor of that. I loved with True Temper and working with them. In fact, last night, if you go to our Instagram stories, you'll see Morgan and the guys with Don Brown from Project X. Don is extremely helpful in the Shaft world to us. Every meal should have a table pizza. We did that at the Budget Championship last year. We had a dinner planned, and the pizza was so good, we actually ordered a night of like sports bar food where they did sliders and pizza and everything else. Who is releasing new golf balls this year? Every single company has new golf balls this year. Not all at the super premium level, but every company has new golf balls this year. I would say keep an eye on multiple brands. There's some really good ones coming. Really good ones. Can you share some F-bombs and your thoughts on dynamic handicapping? No, I can't, because I'm kind of in on dynamic handicapping. It just needs some massaging. Has Vessel jumped the shark? I thought Vessel was pretty innovative. My biggest problem with Vessel overall is every person that I know personally and that has spent money on it, or an OEM that has worked with them, struggles with the quality. Every single one. I know there's 4 members who say they have not struggled at all. but the people I know personally and the OEMs that work with them have all struggled with the quality. There are too many good bags out there that don't, and their pricing is insane. So that's my thoughts on a $1,600 bag from Vessel. I'm the wrong guy to ask because I'm such a luggage whore. Like I have some expensive luggage. Actually, the new luggage I'm using, fuck, you guys got to hear about this. I was totally sold by an Instagram ad. Okay, so I got that suitcase Soul Guard that when you open it up, you can pull the thing out. Sorry, I just hit the microphone and like organize your shit. It's awesome, and it was only $229, which is cheap for good luggage. Hard case, you're definitely going to want to check that out. The only thing is if you're an adult male, like shoes don't fit really well in there. But for golf, it's perfect because everything is organized. You have like a portable closet with you. It's fucking awesome. I have no sponsorship affiliation with them. I don't know why I have to say that caveat, but apparently you do in this new age world. But you should definitely check that out because it's really good. Yes, Brent asked, it actually works. It does. I've taken it on one trip so far, literally opened it up, hung my stuff at the dormy, like the little bar there. And I had my whole closet laid out the entire time. It's called Soul Guard. I don't know how to spell it. It's some weird overseas company. I don't know. Soul Guard. Everybody's asking for me to repeat the name. If you look up like suitcase with closet inside, you'll know exactly what I mean. It works as advertised so far. Morgan will probably say something too about it because we got her one too, and she just took hers to California for the first time. The organization is pretty awesome. It is not Soul Glow Neil, but that's a great movie. Soul Guard. Yes, that's it. Matt Faith just posted it in the super chat there. Leaves marks on the couch. It does leave marks on the couch, not the Soul Guard, the Soul Glow. Any other questions? Send your bank info. I'll take care of it. Thanks, Mike. I actually know what you do for a living, and I believe that I would be fairly secure with you. Yes, Soul Guard is the name of the suitcase, and so far I totally dig it. And I'm a Briggs and Riley guy, lifetime guarantee. Have used their stuff for years now. Both my briefcase and my suitcases are Briggs and Riley, and I've completely switched to the Soul Guard, which costs half as much. Hard case, but holds a ton. It's got clips instead of zippers. Like everything about it worked for me. When will more on the 2023 bags from Callaway and glove coming out? Very, very soon. I sent an email to Austin Tudor earlier today in regards to that. I would guess we can probably start getting that stuff up this week or next. Does T design have any impact on distance control? I'll give you a hot take back. I can tell you never listened to Off Course with Ben Malloy. No, I'm kidding. Go back and read our brand story on Evolve. The original design, that's how it was designed, is it absolutely had an effect. But they don't want to market that because it's a small minority of golfers. You would probably, Tevener, who asked that, would probably fit in this minority of golfers, but because he's a faster swinger, but it absolutely can have an impact. Here's what I tell almost every amateur golfer I see at every event we do. The first, you tee the ball too low. And when they say it's because I'm going to sky market, the second thing I'm going to say is that's not how you sky market. You don't sky mark a club by having the ball teed up too high. You sky mark a club by coming in steep to it. Everybody tees the ball too low. Tee it up, swing up on it, and everything's going to be better. Can you tell us your new what's in the bag? Not yet. Coming. I can tell you that the Paradym driver just went in there after my fitting. Standard 10.5 custom Project X shaft. That's my driver one for the year. My second driver is Zexio X still. Don't know if that will stay, but the other one I'm testing is not out yet, so I can't say that. Does Tony Finau win a major this year? I say yes. I say he wins Augusta National. I haven't made your flight is delayed an hour. What the fuck? God, does Texas do anything right when it comes to travel? Every flight we have in Texas is delayed. Every single one. Sorry. Next live name coming. No idea. I was going to say Patrick Cantlay, but I actually don't think it's him. So I'm not sure. And I'm going to be dead set honest. They need to make some moves for this to continue to be successful. Which custom shaft, handcrafted experience shaft is that? Somebody asked. The green one. No, mine is, yeah, it's the green. It's that green shaft, but it's not from the handcrafted experience. Don Brown made some based on the hazardous red that I really, really liked. Any thoughts on a barn rat season? I don't. I bet you have some thoughts on it though, Phil. I know he's your favorite. Let's talk airlines. I need more F-bombs. I'm not going to talk airlines. They're all so effed up. Driving to Nebraska no, I won't be driving to Nebraska. I'll be driving. I can't ask DRP about Texas. He lives there, but also I think he likes it there. Have I tried the Sax Prente Drac? No, it looks awful. I like a lot some of the Sax Prente models. Used one for 2 years, but don't like that model. I think it's ugly, and I think it is very odd the way the whole thing sets up. Oh, if bougie is being I need to get to someplace on time, Danny is 100% correct. I am bougie. Does Ricky have a good year? Depends on what you're comparing it to. If you're comparing it to the last few, yes. If you shared a name with a pro golfer and got their Masters invite, do you show up for a practice round? No. I would immediately call. Scott Stallings is one of the nicest people on tour, so I was glad that worked out the way it did. You're meh. David Hibbler is meh on Danny Pearson on DRP. I could see that. He seems like the guy who would not just stick it to you, but he'd twist too. I'm guessing there. On time is late. Yeah, in my mind it is. I'm early for everything, and I believe everybody should be. An event in is that PA? Are you asking if we're doing an event in PA? No, we're not. But we are doing one at Hidden Creek, which is right down. It's Christ. They say to fly into Philly. I mean, it's not that far. Does Liv have a TV deal this year, paid or otherwise? Not yet that I know of. The title of this podcast finally. Oh, I know it's fucking terrible, isn't it? Boy, the Granddaddy team really doesn't like their partner DRP. It's really weird. Any more thoughts on your lessons with no practice? Yes, I'm doing it. TTU Cliffhanger asked that. February, I'm getting a lesson and I'm putting it right into play. What do I want in golf equipment? Soft good that he doesn't have already. I want my rain gloves that do this. Like I don't think I'm asking for a lot. Like that's all I want. Delayed till 8 p.m. Now I'm supposed to make dinner for myself too? No, I'm kidding. Oh, I'm so sorry, Morgan. When I wrap this up, I'll call you. Morgan lives in Texas now. No, she would rather die. Actually, it wouldn't be the worst state for her. There's plenty, but I'll let her share that list because that would be a rant all in itself. She has thoughts on different states that are, oh my God, some of my favorite rants ever. Those are great. Would you consider an event at Squire Creek? No. Not because it's not a great place, but right now we're doing some different things. The Texas hate in here? No, there's no Texas hate. It's just not as good as other places. I mean, I understand that it's a law that if you live or have lived there, you need to say only positive things. My flashlight just turned on my phone. But yeah, no. Yeah, Victoria National's coming back. We've already announced that. Victory Cup is heading there. Love is in the Air 2.0. No, but I will tell you this. That was a topic of conversation, not just a couple of weeks ago. So that's interesting that got brought up because that was one that we've said, boy, if there's one event I would like to do over on, it was that one, but I'd have to figure out a way to make the equipment tie-in worth it because it's stupid expensive to host that event. Has there ever been consideration of an event in New England? We've done events in New England before. There was a Titleist event that got canceled due to COVID. We've done a Callaway event there at a public course called the Ranch when we did a ball plant tour. One of my favorite tours I've ever go on. I won't say we won't do an event in New England. I would venture a guess that at some point we do another one there. I'll pay for dinner. I'm close enough. You should definitely call in an order, but she's in Austin, not in DFW. The good news is people say like, you should do it in my area. You should do it in my area. If we're paying for it and we do enough of them where we pay for your airfare and everything too, it doesn't matter where it is. Everybody wants one in their own area, but some people need to look at the golf courses in their area and realize, maybe they're not that good. No, I'm kidding. Will Gaylord Springs host another experience? I will run through Ballyhack fairways naked, shitting myself before I ever host an event at that golf course again. I hope that answers that question. I'm not sure, but I hope it does. I just got a text message from Canadan, and it says, "Did you go on a heater?" I think he's going to want to watch this show back. Blue Jack National needs an event. It's a really fun golf course. I enjoyed it immensely. They are, how should I say that? They're a little tougher to work with in setting something up that's this unique. I say that about other courses that are public too, like TPC Sawgrass, things like that. She would not want In and Out. He tried to gaslight me. Is that so? I have 2 dogs running around in circles out there. So I think it's time I probably sign off on this. I'll probably have a lot more to say, but in some ways it was cathartic. And I thank you guys for tuning into this complete shit show of an episode. It seems perfect for episode 20. So I'm going to sign off, but thank you everybody. And we have a lot more coming next week, including, like I said, we're giving away a free trip.